I'm not gonna lie to you, it's getting impossible to survive in our industry, let alone thrive in the current economy. Number one issue that I find with people that are struggling is that they are focused 100% on their technical abilities and they have zero business sense. So think about this. Imagine if there's a candidate that's running for president, him or her, and they have the best policies under the sun, but they have stage fright and they can't translate their message to the masses. So what happens? So the guy or the girl who's a showman is going to take over and that person is going to win. Now, I'm not saying go 100% into business and know nothing about, like, say, DaVinci Resolve or color grading, but there is a fine line and there is that perfect balance that you can find where you don't only survive, but you thrive. So in this video, just like always, I'm gonna be sharing my biggest failures instead of just creating some generic avatar and hoping that you will learn from my failures and won't make those mistakes in your color grading journey. And on the topic of learning from others, look at your screen and see for yourself what filmmakers are saying about Qazi's toolkit. I created these tools keeping beginners in mind, so every parameter in here has guardrails. Push the out of it and nothing is going to crack. You're gonna end up with professional looking images. You can download the demo for free and just mess around with it, or click the special link and save $200 on Qazi's Toolkit bundle. So check it out, it's in the description, and let's roll the intro. So I would come across crazy opportunities, and when the client asks, how much do you want to charge? I would always just shoot too high in hopes that they would think that that makes me look professional. Don't do that. The opportunity cost is too high, especially when you're just starting out. So what I would suggest is do the classic, flip the script on them and say, well, what's your budget for this particular job? And if they are seasoned, they will never reveal their hand, because in the negotiation world, the rule is that whoever speaks first loses. Now we have things like ChatGPT. You can just literally tell it your skill set or where do you think that you stand on the totem pole, and it will give you a real world number. I'm telling you, it is ridiculous. You can also go on a website like Glassdoor and just see what people are charging. Go on Upwork, see what people are charging, like look at their work, and anybody who's at your caliber, then that's what the rate is. Or you can DM people on Instagram. Find colorists. You don't have to go to Tom Pool or Jill, but you can find colorists that, again, are somewhat at your caliber and start a dialogue. Like, just ask them that, hey man, I'm new in this. It will mean the world to me if you can help me out. I have this client. Tell them about the client too, because what that's going to do is that if they know a little bit more than you, they can just gauge right away. Because in my head, I already know all the different tiers of clients for different category of project, music videos, commercials, whatever have you. So if somebody tells me, hey man, like Skillshare reached out to me for this gig, what is it? Oh, it's an internal corporate video that they want graded. Okay, I know exactly what the rate is and I can just tell you. Versus if you tell me, hey, ADIDAS just reached out, they are working on an ad campaign for their fall collection, how much should I charge? I will know exactly what that number is. So reach out to those colorists and just tell them that, hey, what do you think? You'll be surprised. They will help you. Let's just say if that doesn't work, the next step would be to hit up general filmmakers on Instagram, maybe friends or somebody, again, somewhat at your caliber that is a working professional. Reach out to them and say, when you hire a colorist, how much do you pay them for a project like this? And then explain what you're dealing with and see what they say. And if all else fails, there is a very simple math that I want you to do. I mean, this is Qazi's math, okay? This is super, super basic. So let's just say that you get a music video and it will take you 3 days to color. Now, I can tell you a really good colorist, a professional colorist will do it in 1 day. Okay, so you're already taking 3 times as long. And let's just say, for the example's sake, your day rate is $500. Now, I think 500 is on the higher end, especially if you're just starting out, but I'm just gonna keep it simple for numbers' sake. So the math is just easy. So let's just say 500 times 3, $1,500. Good. But remember what I said, a good colorist, a decent colorist will get it done in 1 day. So just take whatever that number is and divide it by 3, especially in this scenario. So 1,500 divided by 3, $500. You should charge $500 to work on that music video. Now, what's happening is that one, for your market placement and your skill set, the price is right. So you're not going to spook them out. And secondly, now you got that new client. And then once you start leveling up, so let's just say you got it done in 2 days, now take $1,500 divided by 2. Because now you're leveling up. So now you should be charging $750. By the time you get to doing it in 1 day, now take that number and then tell them $1,500. They're going to go, oh, $1,500 is too much. How about $1,000? How about $1,250? Bam, you're getting there. I feel like it is such a delicate dance, and I feel like there's not a lot of conversation about it. Everybody keeps that stuff too close to their chest and they think it's taboo to like talk about money and things like that. But I feel like a lot of you are so good and you should be out there making money, doing things, but it's just always those little things that are just off. And it ends up costing you a huge client, an opportunity. And hopefully this will help you. Moving on to our second point. I used to give so much grief to my clients when they came back with a feedback because I would just genuinely get hurt, right? So I'm getting defensive because I'm not as good as I should be at my craft. So then I take things personally. And I'm sure somebody out there can relate with me. Another thing was that I didn't have the hard skills down to the point where I can attack their feedback right away. So then, for me, I'm doing the math in my head and I'm going, it's gonna take me 1 day or 2 days to make these changes. Then I will come back and I will throw all these absurd numbers. I would charge them for additional day, 2 days, 3 days. And they were like, that wasn't the deal. What you need to do is like, just remember, these are the guys that are paying your bills. So be appreciative. Keep an open mind when they come back with the laundry list of changes that they wanna make. Look at it analytically as a colorist. Leave your ego at the door. Analyze, strategize, come up with a plan. If you genuinely feel like some of the changes they're asking for is actually going to hurt the project instead of helping it, then communicate that clearly in a non-combative way. This literally just happened to me when I was working on this Universal Studios Blumhouse ad campaign. The client came back and their main feedback was that they wanted everything a lot brighter and a bunch of other small changes. So I started off by saying that first off, all of this can be done. Absolutely no problem. But if you guys are open to it, I just want to share my 2 cents. Will that be okay? And of course, they came back by saying, absolutely, we want to hear what you got. Then without emotions, I shared with them how ridiculous of a process I have to cross-reference every single grade I work on. I test it on an iPad, on a MacBook Pro, on a 77-inch OLED TV, professional monitor, obviously. And then I told them that I'm using these crazy industry-leading scopes and I'm making sure that everything looks as juicy as possible in its natural environment. So I don't go in here and then start changing up all the settings and try to optimize it. No. If my mom is watching something on her TV and her TV is set to some disgusting, vivid settings, how will it look? So I like to leave things in their authentic settings under naturally lit rooms, stuff like that. So once I explained this entire process to them, and then I told them on top of that, that all these other things, you guys are absolutely right. I'm gonna make those changes. They came back and said, we agree with you 100% with everything that you said. Thank you so much for explaining that to us. So they gave me a go ahead and then I went on and made all the changes. And at the end, the client just couldn't be happier. It doesn't matter how good you are. If you're really hard to work with, nobody will want to work with you. I used to have so many stipulations, terms and conditions, and all these things that I would send to my client before working on their project. And most of them were reaching out to me. They still wanted to work with me because they like my work. But what I noticed is that 1 year, 2 years down the road, those connections will just wither away. Basically, what was happening is that I was putting everybody in the same bucket. So the brand new client that I didn't know about, somebody that I did know, because usually you start working with a client, you barely know them. And then 3 years later, the relation should have been like so much different, right? My thing was that it was very much like, this is work. I don't have you on my speed dial and let's go get dinner and this and that and the other thing. So that just created this friction where outside of work and outside of those hours when we're just in a room working together, there's just like nothing there. And that is not good at all. That's not what makes you irreplaceable. And that brings us to the whole point of this video. If you become irreplaceable, no one will ever question to get rid of you for somebody else who's a little bit cheaper or who's giving them some sort of a deal. Nobody cares about that. People ask for reliability. People ask for great work ethic, and people ask for somebody that they can enjoy hanging out with. So what's better than getting paid and making new friends? And if you want to be my friend, then definitely check out Qazi's Toolkit, literally the best look development tool for DaVinci Resolve right now. Link is in the description. You can download the free demo if you want to play around, or by clicking on that special link, you do get $200 off the QT bundle. So check it out. And that's all I got for you today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I will see you in the next one. Peace, fam.